Hey everybody, Jimmy with the Triple C Collective here, and
Collin here.
we are ready to bring you Ahsoka, episode 4, The Fallen Jedi. And it is I'm super stoked for this. This episode was really good.
Right.
This
This
episode
was
broke
like the
me.
episode where um everything we saw in like previews previous to this was kind of like the wrapped it up. Like
Yeah,
we
this
didn't
was
see
yeah,
anything
very
basically.
Yeah, very true. They didn't like we haven't previews wise. You're right. Previews wise, previous to this, like this was the last that we've seen in any of it,
Be like I was
basically.
waiting on Balon and Ahsoka's fight and shit, and like
Yeah,
Shin
yeah.
and yeah. But
But
yeah, let's get into it. So we start off basically at the end of last episode's right onto this episode. It's tacked right on. We're with the T6 down on the Cetos planet. We're outside the ship, and Hugh Yang's kind of working on it to fix it.
mhm.
Not having a good time, either.
No, him and Sabine are working on it, and they're definitely having a tough time. They're trying to reach like Hera and stuff, but the comms, the power converter, it's all just jacked up for them. And then like Ahsoka's like, hey, Sabine, come here. Like, hey, come here, come here, come here. So I want to let you know, like, enemy has the map. Uh, we're gonna face a difficult decision. And Sabine's like, what do you mean? What do you mean, Ahsoka? And Ahsoka's like, if we can't make the journey, then no one
Right,
should make the journey. And Sabine is kind of like, I no, it won't come to that. And Ahsoka's like, well, it might have already gotten there,
right.
basically. And like this was like,
Like basically, like we have to not. If Ezra is a casualty in this exchange, that we have to be okay with that.
yeah,
And you could tell they're just not on the same page this whole conversation. Like, so she at the end of it, she kind of is like, Sabine, can I count on you? And Sabine's like, yeah, yeah, oh, for sure, yeah, I got you.
yeah, for sure.
But no, it definitely seems like they're on different pages. Understandably,
Yeah. And even Hugh Wang's like, hey, everything all right with you
yeah,
guys? And they're like, yeah, 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 yeah. It's fine.
yeah.
It's fine. Hugh
So
Wang
they head
begins
back on
to
the ship, and then we see that HK droid chilling out in
yeah,
the forest, kind of
lurking
just stalking them.
lurking in the forest and stuff as Sabine and Ahsoka leave to go find what they're describing as like the ground base of like their operations and whatnot,
Yeah.
which is
Well, first
what I just
they head back in the ship.
yeah,
Yeah, and we cut back to the henge where Balon is, uh, and that's when like Marak and Shin walk up like, "Yo, droids found him. Let's go. We got
yeah,
this." And Braylon's like, "Yeah, you guys got this. I'm gonna chill here with Morgan. we're gonna finish off getting the coordinates
yeah.
while
Make
you
sure
guys
that
go
we don't
handle."
have any more delays or anything,
Right, because the
basically.
guards will only be able to hold him off for so long. You two will be able to hold him off for a
Right.
little while.
Right. And even Morgan says that, and then that's why Balin's like, well, yeah, that's why Shin and Marak is going. Like, that's why they're going.
They'll last a little
They
longer.
yeah, you're not gonna be able to stop them, but you'll definitely slow those people down long enough for
Right.
us. Like, Morgan, come on. This ain't my first rodeo, baby.
Exactly. Yeah, he seems, I don't know, throughout this whole episode, this was what I was really like, oh, okay. He seems to have something, he seems to have knowledge that like he isn't sharing. He seems
Oh,
to be very like wary but also confident in why he's what he's doing right now. And like as an audience member, I have no idea what's going on. And it's just cool to see how confident he is as a character.
yeah, it's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Because you're right. He's absolutely withholding something, and you can tell that, and you can tell it in like the subtlety of like how he looks like almost longingly up at the like sky, and then we see the
Right.
Purgils, and then like at the end of last episode we saw the Purgils, and like probably part of like Ahsoka coming in, like he's very in tune with like the Force and everything around him. Like he even says maybe even it's later in this episode or maybe it was in an earlier episode, but he's like, to kill Ahsoka-san, or to kill Ahsoka Tano would be like a true tragedy.
Yeah,
You know?
they talked about it in like the one episode where they don't want to kill any more Jedi. He doesn't want to have to kill any
Mhm.
more Jedi. There's not that many left. But yeah, so this is when they cut back to inside the T6 now, and
Yeah.
now like Sabine's kind of like tinkering around looking for some blaster ammo, and she can't find it, and she's all anxious, and Ahsoka just calmly walks up to her, approaches her, and she just kind of grabs it off the table, hands it to Sabine,
Mhm.
and she tells her to relax, calm down. Like first things first, calm down.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, outside the ship, we got Hugh
All the
Yang.
droids are starting to encircle them and like start doing like the 360 around the ship and
Well, no, first
everything.
Hugh Yang. Yeah, Hugh Yang's working on the ship right now, and then that one comes up to him that was stalking it, and then they have this little fight here, and I love this fight because it does show like that Hugh Yang's kind of a boxer. He
Yeah.
he definitely is a fighter, but he's not as good as a hunter killer droid at fighting. So he does it the only way he knows, by like kind of cutting off power to the ship. And Ahsoka's like, "That's something's wrong," because Sabine was like, "Come on, idiot! Like, what's going on?" And so
Like
no, no, no,
that
something's wrong.
Daffy droid. I love that Sabine used the word Daffy to
Right,
describe Hewing in that moment.
yeah,
It's so
right,
freaking funny.
yeah.
Um
Then that's when they all kind of just come surrounding the ship,
yeah.
and then they come out Jedi and Mandalorian style. Like she's using her sabers. Sabine's just Mando with her blasters and like her
Mhm.
like the basically her bat tools.
Yeah, right?
Or
I, I mean,
yeah,
hey, got to play the advantage like, like
exactly.
her stuff works and
They
it's
take them
working
out real. They take those guards out pretty quickly, and like
right.
this is when like Ahsoka's like, "All right, we're gonna go. We're gonna go find this where they're at the ground base, and you're gonna have to go and work on the ship and make sure the comms are up so you can get in touch with Hera."
And the one thing that Hewing says, he's like, "All right, I got the ship, but if I may, let me make one request of you both." And they're like, "What? Did you not see what just happened here? We gotta
Right,
go." And he's like, "Stick together.
right,
You guys were always better together." And
right.
then Sabine and Ahsoka run off to go do their stuff.
Yep.
Um, and then we,
Again,
we
it's foreshadowing like a mother. Like he's clearly like, "Come on, guys, we know that like this isn't. You're not going to stick together, but I'm going to at least throw it out there."
yeah, yeah, we're gonna
So
toss
yeah,
that out there. See, see how fine of that line you guys walk.
but yeah, this is when we cut back to like the home one, like the kind of scene where we're with Hera, and
Yep,
she just straight disobeys the orders that she was given about not engaging,
yep.
and her Chopper and Jason kind of just leave. And it's funny because that one guy walks up to him and is like, What do you mean you're leaving?" Like they're so bureaucratic, they don't even understand like going against orders.
Yeah,
Like they don't understand she's a rebel. Like she does
yeah.
not. Yeah, but
She
this is
doesn't exactly go by the code. She's
yeah.
on your side. She is fighting for you for the exact same goals that you
Oh
are, the
yeah,
New Republic and everything. But the idea of being like, "Hey, Hera, here's the box. Play within it and you've got unlimited freedom." She's like, "Yeah, I don't though, because I fly and you're not going to pin me into no cage here."
right. So she
And
makes moves and she heads out with like I said, Jason and Chopper, and they're like five X-wing starfighters come up next to her, and one of them's Carson Teva, who's played by Paul Sun Young Lee, who's like in The Mandalorian. He
our
showed up in
boy.
Chapter 10 for the first time in The Passenger. Yeah, and
Mhm.
they're all off to help. Carson Teva is a great character, great like
I
connect.
love that he shows up in everything.
Yeah, yeah, he's a great connecting piece without like being too much into it. Like what's his name from the like beginning of the event?
Agent Coulson,
Yeah, Colson.
Clark
Yeah,
Gregg from like the phase 1 of the MCU and stuff, of like being the him being the piece of like, he just kind of liked all the Avengers and superheroes, and like everybody was like,
Exactly.
"Yeah, you know what? Coulson's a decent guy. He's an all right guy. We'll go help
The
him
rest of the
out."
team is just the same way. He's just a decent, good guy that's kind of just caught up in a big.
Man, does that mean they're gonna kill Carson at some point? And
Maybe.
be the thing dude, I can see Din being like, "Man, me and Grogu are cool with our little bit of land here. Like we don't
Yeah.
need nothing else." And then but they killed your boy. Grogu's right
I mean,
here.
I don't
Eh,
see any problem with the Mandalorians jumping on board with this war already.
yeah,
Hopefully, they
right.
don't leave his sacrifice right away for them to jump in. But what anyway? So we get back to they're off. They're off to help, and then we cut back to the Henge, and that's where Morgan's kind of using her powers for the first time, like we're seeing on this thing on the map, and it starts like glowing off this map. This time it's not just like showing the map. They're starting to download the schematics basically, and
Yeah.
this is when Balon just kind of like witchcraft. You know what I mean? He again showing like that he kind of has. I feel like his own reasons for doing what
Well,
he did.
and then you also see just like when you saw like Morgan the first time put the map in there and like kind of manipulate it a little bit. You start seeing the like green smoke and like that
Yeah,
green like kind of coloring that's like
just
being
like from the
used.
Clone Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, being used and like so that was just something that like I always noticed. And then in rewatching Clone Wars I was like, "Oh, that's right."
Right.
Yeah.
It's all over. Yeah, so then
Um
we go back to this is when we cut back to the forest and like Ahsoka and Sabine are running through it pretty quickly. Ahsoka's running, and this is when Marak and Shin kind of get their rematches with each one of them. So we get
yeah.
Ahsoka versus Marak again, and then we get Sabine versus Shin. And I really loved Marak's fighting style in this bat. Like he's just so like he uses his whole body.
Yep.
Um, and like it was almost like ninja like compared to her samurai
Yeah.
style, and he puts up a good fight. And then Sabine's off fighting with Shin, and she's using her blasters as long as she could, and I kind of appreciated that. Like, because that would kind of call back to when Ahsoka in the last episode said, like, you're relying too much on your weapons, but like at the same time, she knows what she knows, and she
And
knows she
she's
just got beat by Shin, so like, let's go ahead and use
like
what I'm good with first until
exactly.
she can't, and then she grabs the lightsaber.
And then so yeah, she adjusts, she pivots, she uses the lightsaber, something she can use and can handle and everything, but is something that doesn't get but she doesn't lean with it first,
Right.
because the last time she went first with it she got stabbed through the side.
Oh
So
yeah.
she goes with what she does best, which is awesome and like the correct thing, because it's like it is like in this moment you are better with your Mandalorian stuff than you are with a lightsaber, especially against somebody who is way more trained and way more along in their training than you are.
Yeah.
Um, but
When Marak, but then they're fighting, and Marak cuts back to Marak and Ahsoka, and
mhm,
Marak's using the like his blades again, like it's spinning around,
yeah,
and
like the Inquisitors.
they
Yep.
yeah, and they have this showdown, and this Ahsoka just slices through him real quick, and when she slices through him though, this is like a lot of fan speculation into who Marak was. Nobody, kinda, but like we see smoke come out of him,
Yeah.
and it's green, and you're like, oh, what's going on here? Um, and that's kind of the first hint that something like is going on with Morgan's magic, maybe
Yeah.
with Marak.
Magic and being a witch and stuff, and like man, it was wild.
Yeah. So then this is when Sabine's just like, all right, I got this. You go.
Yeah.
And
And so Sabine starts fighting uh like Shin's like, "You're gonna regret this, fighting me one on one without your girl here." It goes against what Huang was even saying too, about being like, "Hey, like stick together, you're better together." Like they both were doing well in said fights when they were both near each other and like in the same vicinity and stuff. Um, and then we see Morgan like leaves, is telling Balon like we need to protect this, like they're on their way. I'm gonna go to the ship, make sure everything is okay with the final preparations there. I
Yeah, Bateman,
will
you just stay back. You watch the map.
I'll call for you when we're
Yeah,
ready. And he's
but
like,
also like when they cut back to the fight with Shin and Sabine, this is kind of the first time we see Sabine kind of use the Force before, like after their fight, after the Balon and Ahsoka are fighting. But I did want to talk. Yeah, so we're back with Sabine and Shin, and they're fighting, and we kind of see Sabine use the Force a little bit, and Shin reminds her that it's weak. She's weak, like you got no power, and this is when Sabine kind of uses her blaster,
yep.
and on her wrist, and it's like, oh, she went back to Mandalorian. She knows what she's good at right now. But she did.
Mm-hmm.
We did see a little bit of when she hit her with the Force.
Yeah.
So it's starting to go up. But back to Balon and protecting the map. Ahsoka kind of walks up and calmly, they're kind of just
Yeah.
posturing. And Balon immediately says, Anakin spoke highly of you, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, okay. He knows
Okay.
who she is. He knows who Anakin was. And then a few sentences later, few lived to see what he became.
Yep.
Not only does he know who Anakin was, not only does he know he was her master, he knows he became Darth Vader, which very few people in the galaxy knew that.
Minuscule amounts.
Yeah. So he gets into his like posturing, like I said. He's kind of explaining while he's doing what he's doing. Greater good type thing with Thrawn being part of that, whatever. Like he's
Yeah.
gonna do
Well,
whatever he's gonna do. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do though.
right. I'm not sold that like Balon is actually like in on Thrawn. He's,
No,
excuse
he
me, he
knows
is
Thrawn's
in.
gonna be a problem, but he doesn't care.
Yeah,
It's
he
not
doesn't care because he
That's
knows
beyond
that,
what he's doing.
right, that there is something else for Balon to get from where Thrawn is
Yeah,
or something, or like
yeah, he is bigger
wherever
than
they
that.
are.
Clearly, I
Because like
never.
because Balon, the way he even talks about it is like, there's some people will a war will end, some will start it or whatever. For us, it's like the next thing, like the
Right.
next step.
He says one
Um,
must destroy in order to create. So like he's literally talking like an agent of chaos.
yeah.
He's like talking like we need to rebuild. And again, going back to his the wolf characters that they're based that Balon and Shin are based on, like Hati and Skull. They happen to eat the sun and the moon at Ragnarok, and then after Ragnarok, uh, like universe or galaxy appears from that wreckage.
Hmm.
So like again, chaos to bring a new something maybe better or different, and he's definitely after something bigger than, and Ahsoka's just not having it. Ahsoka's like, let's go.
No.
And he's like, how inevitable, you know what I mean? And this is such a cool battle because again, we got like samurai versus ninja almost earlier versus like that slash inquisitor, and then
Hmm.
now we're getting like a samurai versus knight, like straight up. He's even holding his
Yeah.
saber like a knight, like a broadsword because it's
Yeah.
bigger than most sabers I've noticed, and he's a formidable opponent. Put it that
Oh
way,
yeah, absolutely.
and slashing, but every strike is calculated pretty.
Oh yeah, this fight between Balon and Ahsoka is amazing.
Yeah,
Because it's not like even the like very intense like bang 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 kind of
right,
fight of that we were seeing between Shin and Sabine,
right.
like
A
which
little
were
more
like a lot more quicker, faster pace and stuff.
yeah,
These are a little bit more like they're intense for sure, but they
calculated.
are way more calculated and very precision driven and stuff, and not again like kind of wild and emotional
Right.
as
No
like,
move is wasted.
yeah, exactly. Everything
Yeah.
was
So
very deliberate.
yeah, and they're fighting, and off in the distance, Shin kind of uses a smoke bomb to get away, and she kind of comes up to Ahsoka and Balon at this moment. And Ahsoka, you can see it in her face, like she thinks Sabine's gone. Like, wait, like Shin's here, Sabine must be dead, and then
Yeah.
she kind of uses the Force to knock her out,
Yeah.
and Balon uses that moment to kind of get the upper hand on Ahsoka, and they start fighting again, and Ahsoka gets out and kind of grabs the orb, burns herself, but at
Yep.
least it's out of the. At least it's not calculating anymore. Like the
Yeah,
core.
she disrupts the download
Yeah,
and everything like that.
yeah. And that's what again. He kind of Balin comes back and starts like slashing. He's more angry now. Like he's
Yeah.
definitely, going after her, and this is when Sabine walks back up, and Ahsoka's like kind of towards the edge of the hedges cliff.
Yeah.
And Sabine holds the gun to the map, basically the orb, and is like, "We gotta. I don't know what to do." And Ahsoka's like, "Blow it up, like we already
Yeah.
talked about." We,
Destroy it.
yeah,
Like,
destroy it. But she's kind
and
of like, "Well, no, let her go." You know what I mean? She's using it as a to at least get his
bargaining chip.
back for right now. Balon's having none of that. Knocks out Ahsoka, starts walking towards Sabine. Ahsoka falls off the cliff, and as
Yeah.
far as
He
that
takes a
right
slash he takes
now,
a
yep,
slash at Ahsoka that, like, obviously, like, you see some, like, spark in, like, red, so you don't know if he, like, breaks one of Ahsoka's sabers or if it, like, was just, like, a clash and, like, she just got a nice little quick defensive, like, measure up. But, yeah, I mean, the force of that little, like, fight there, I shouldn't say little, but the force of that, like, fight and that movement there totally sends her over the edge,
yeah.
and, like,
This is
Sabine,
basically Sabine just holding the gun to the map now. Like,
yeah,
what do we do? And
like,
this is when we kind of see Balon again, kind of use his skills as like you could see why he can pull maybe Shin into his madness because he is convincing. You know, he starts using her parents, their dead parents, against her, and turning her against Ahsoka. And you in this moment, you kind of don't know what Sabine's feeling. You know, they've been off page the whole time.
right,
This episode and clearly into the past.
right,
But it's
and
finally
we don't
starting to
know
get
what
back
split them.
together. Yeah,
We don't,
yeah, exactly. Other than just, I think they just went their separate ways. Yeah.
right,
Yeah. So then he basically promises like no harm will come to you if you give me that. Like, and we could find Ezra. Like, do it for Ezra. And kind of seeing no way out, I guess, because like literally, I thought about because I was so angry after this episode, but I thought about it, and it's like she had no other option other than dying in that moment, and like I don't know, she between her wanting to save, I mean, saving yourself is one of the most like basic instincts that we have, and then
yeah,
friend being involved in that, her brother basically.
yeah,
Uh, she hands it over, and then immediately Shin grabs her with like a force choke, which is interesting that she like knows how to use these dark side. Because
hmm,
again, Balon's clearly not teaching her like a Jedi; he's teaching
yeah,
her something else, just like Ahsoka was trying to teach Sabine to be something else. And Balon just pops that right back in, and the coordinates start downloading, and pretty quickly they're complete. And Balon grabs the map and destroys it. It says
yeah,
like no one's catching up to us, and they head
yeah,
off. He grabs Sabine, like goes by his word. Like I said,
yeah.
he's gonna get her there.
He
He
tells
can't
Shin
prove
to let
he's
her
gonna
go.
get her
Like, hey,
there,
stop
but
that, stop
yeah,
that. She's
yeah,
under our protection. Like, we're not doing that. We're not those kind of people.
yeah, yep,
Um, but
yeah.
yeah,
And
the,
this is when we cut back to Hugh Yang, who finally gets to contact the ghost
hmm,
and the ghost crew that's coming up, and Hera and her small crew kind of just arrive back at Cetos just as Morgan's about to fire off the ISI on, and
hmm,
they're kind of in her lane basically. And Morgan's like, "Let's go, I don't care." So they take off into hyperspace, and two of the X-wings get taken out like right away.
yeah,
And it's kind of
absolutely
like,
murked.
it's kind of like, oh no, this is like, it was kind of like it was like, oh no, this is bad things are about to happen. And we get that from Jason, who literally says, Mom, I've got a bad feeling, which we know in Star Wars is never a good thing. But
No.
also, duh, we just saw two ships get blown up and they
Yeah,
just,
right?
but also, like, I think he's feeling maybe what just happened to Ahsoka, like considering his connection with the Force and stuff. And he feels a maybe grander evil coming.
Right. Absolutely. It's great seeing Jason. It's great clearly seeing his like force ability and everything like that. Like it is awesome to see all of that. Huang, is calling out to Sabine and Ahsoka.
No, no avail.
Yeah,
Nothing's happening.
no
And
no
then this is
answer.
when we get like one of the most beautiful transitions in Star Wars ever. Like it goes from the ocean that we just saw Ahsoka get dropped into, and then
Yeah,
also that turns into like this like blue uh opulent looking shimmering road on the world between worlds, and she
yeah.
wakes up on one of those roads that we've seen before, and she's kind of staring like, I know this place, what's going on? And then all of a sudden you hear hello Snips, and
Right.
you know what I mean, like what? She turns
Yep.
around, Anakin Skywalker is there, and it is like it's Anakin fully realized, like when she was under his tutelage.
Apprenticeship, like
Yeah,
when she was his apprentice
yeah,
or his Padawan and stuff. Um, Anakin Sky Guy Walker, man. Yeah.
yeah.
And
There's
then
Snips and Anakin reunite, and it's kind of a sweet ending. But before it gets too sweet, he gives a smile, kind of they smirk at each other, and the Vader theme sends us off. And
yeah, then we get Vader's music
yeah,
and it's like, "Oh, how cool is this? Or
exactly.
is this something super
Yeah,
menacing?"
exactly. Either way, yeah, it was a very interesting ending. Like, don't know where they're trying to take it like yet. So
Yeah, right. Yeah.
it's very fun. But I loved that transition at the end so much. It's really one of the best things I've seen in Star Wars in a long
Yeah.
time, because it was just like, oh, as far as Star Wars goes, they get maybe like a little flack for how their transitions are sometimes.
Yeah.
So love to see a very well done one.
Yeah, it was great. This episode was really good. Sabine, I don't agree with her play in it. It really bothers me. Um,
Put
but
yourself
it's
in
it's
the position.
it's like it's always bothered me.
Okay,
Like
but
from the
what
first.
would you have done as a human
I
being?
mean,
You give up your
you
own life.
destroy it because
Got it.
nobody's so. If we can't make the journey, nobody makes it.
Yeah, but then she's dead.
Huh?
Then she's dead.
So there's no guarantee that Ezra's alive either,
I
though.
mean, do you really think if you're standing there with something and you have a friend out there that you're just gonna be like, yeah, I'll kill myself. That's cool. Like that's just goes against human nature.
Yeah, maybe. I don't
Like
know.
self like I mean, again, like she really had no choice. As much as it seemed like she did. Ahsoka just got killed by Balon. She's gonna drop this thing and then lose Ezra, and maybe that'll be the end of everything too. Because if Ezra's gone, how are they ever gonna fight Thrawn? Because Ahsoka was maybe the last Jedi that she knows of. Sabine knows of, at least. And I don't know. I think her decision in retrospect makes a little more sense.
Maybe. Um,
I don't see another way out
yeah, no way
other than
out.
death.
Um, but
That
yeah,
doesn't
no,
seem honest.
that bothered me. But other than that,
Me
like,
too.
I
Me
mean,
too.
I did like the episode. It is great. The transition to the world between worlds was awesome. The lightsaber fights between Ahsoka and Marak and Balon were out of this world. The fight between Sabine and Shin was like really awesome. There was a lot of really great stuff in this episode, and getting Hayden Christensen back as Anakin and then getting the Vader theme at the end there was really sweet.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
It was a little uncanny valley, but like compared to like Luke and stuff, it was definitely much better.
Yeah, they're getting all of that like de-aging stuff better and better as time goes on.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was a little like, whoa,
yeah,
what is that?
yeah.
um,
Always gonna happen,
but
I guess, but
with
especially early on.
yeah, but with that, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I am Jimmy with the Triple C Collective, and
Colin here.
we want to thank you all for joining us for Ahsoka episode 4, Fallen Jedi. Please like and subscribe to our video and to our channel. We want to thank you all for joining us. Stay safe, and as always, may the Force be with you. Peace.
Hey.